And we are live. What is up, everyone? It has been a minute, to say the least. I think it's been about 2 weeks since I've been here on Twitch. I've had like this cold for, gosh, I don't know how long. I feel like we're on 4 to 5 weeks now. I can finally talk for longer periods of time without constantly having to clear my throat and coughing or sniffling. But I'm not over it completely, but I'm going to do my best. I've missed you guys. I've missed being on stream, missed learning stuff alongside of you. So welcome. I'm going to make sure everything on my Twitch side is done. And I will ask you guys watching on Twitch, as usual, I don't have a good way to monitor the audio. So if everything sounds good, I'd really appreciate if you let me know on Twitch, and I will be happy. The other thing is, usually, as many of you know, I am streaming late at night. So usually it's like 10 p.m. when I start my time because my kids are asleep. Well, today is during the day, so my kids are above my head. So if it sounds like a child is dying above me, or 2 kids are fighting, or there's an earthquake above my head, it's just my kids. So I apologize ahead of time, but they usually can't really hear them from down here. I have a really kind of special stream, kind of a special series that we're going to start. What I like to do on Twitch and YouTube is share with you guys what I am learning. So whether you're watching this on Twitch live as it happens or on YouTube after the fact, truly is an honor to have you taking a little bit of time to hang out with me. I will also monitor the Twitch chat. So if you have questions for me as we run through this, feel free to post it on Twitch and I will keep my eye on the chat over there. But today we are going to spend a little bit of time learning about hacking AWS. A topic that is completely new to me. The place where I work is Rhino Security Labs, and we are kind of known for AWS Pentesting. We've developed some really cool tools, and one really cool thing that we've developed that's used by a lot of people is a completely free AWS Pentesting lab that you can set up in your environment called CloudGoat. So I want to walk through setting up CloudGoat today, and if we have time, we'll dive into the first scenario and explain everything that is going on. So without any further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen. Here we go. And I have the GitHub open right here for CloudGoat. And so I would encourage you, if you want to follow along, go ahead and pull this up. If you just go to Google and type in CloudGoat GitHub, you will be able to find it. It's here on the Rhino Security Labs GitHub. And I think a good way to do this is to take it slow. So those of you who have watched me do Try Hack Me or Hack the Box, our temptation when we're learning stuff is to skim it. And I don't know if you're like me, anytime I skim something, what usually happens is I get stuck and I realize I'm missing something obvious because I skimmed it. So we're going to slow down and really take our time to learn this. What I always like to share is our goal is not to finish this as quick as we can. Our goal is to learn something so that when we walk away, we know a little more about AWS pentesting than we did when we started. So we're going to take it slow. We're going to Google stuff that's unfamiliar to us. And I'm learning this right alongside of you. So if you're watching this hoping like for some AWS pentesting expert to teach you how to do this, you're in the wrong spot. I am not an expert. I am learning this with you. So for those of you who know more about AWS than I do, if I explain something incorrectly or if I'm doing something insufficient or not sufficiently, I don't know if that's the right word, but if I'm just doing something strange, call me out. My goal is to learn as I stream this. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So here's CloudGoat. CloudGoat is Rhino Security Labs' vulnerable by design AWS deployment tool. We have some quick references here. Where to get help? I'll just add myself here. So if you are working on CloudGoat, you run into issues, have questions, feel free to reach out to me on Discord. I am the admin of the Work Smarter Discord channel. For those of you who are part of that Discord channel, if you could do me a favor and just drop an invite link in the chat for people to join. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you look at the description of the video, there will be an invite link there. Come hang out with us in the Work Smarter Discord channel and feel free to message me if you have questions. I may not know the answer, but I'm at Rhino Security Labs every day, so I'm sure I can find someone who can get the answer for you. All right, CloudGoat 2.0 is here. CloudGoat is Rhino Security Labs' vulnerable by design AWS deployment tool. It allows us to hone our cloud cybersecurity skills by creating and completing several capture the flag style scenarios. Each scenario is composed of AWS resources arranged together to create a structured learning experience. Some scenarios are easy, some are hard, and many offer multiple paths to victory. As the attacker, that's us, it is your mission to explore the environment, identify vulnerabilities, and exploit your way to the scenario's goal. Below are our main goals for CloudGoat. So, number 1, focus, curated, high-quality learning experiences. Each of CloudGoat's scenarios should provide the opportunity for for experimentation, exploration, and building hands-on cloud security skills. Good documentation, that's always important. We've done our best to ensure that CloudGoat scenarios are well documented and easy to understand and evaluate in terms of difficulty, content, structure, and skills required. Easy to install and use. We understand that CloudGoat is a means to an end, learning and practicing cloud security penetration testing. Therefore, we aim to keep things simple, straightforward, and reliable. And modularity. Each scenario is a standalone learning environment with a clear goal or set of goals. So if you think of like Try Hack Me, and Try Hack Me has rooms, and each room is very similar to that. So you can picture each scenario as kind of like a Try Hack Me room if you're familiar with Try Hack Me. CloudGoat is able to start up, reset, or shut down each scenario independently. And expandability. CloudGoat's core components, Python app and scenarios, are designed to permit easy and independent expansion by us or you guys, the community. Before you proceed, please take note of these warnings. Warning number 1, CloudGoat creates intentionally vulnerable AWS resources into your account. Do not deploy CloudGoat in a production environment or alongside any sensitive AWS resources. And warning number 2, CloudGoat can only manage resources it creates. If you create any resources yourself in the case of a scenario, you should remove them manually before running the destroy command. And we'll talk about the destroy command shortly. Here's our requirements. So a few things that I would encourage you guys to pay attention to. One is you should probably already have Python 3.6 or greater required if you're doing Kali Linux. Terraform does not come pre-installed on Kali Linux, so you will want to follow these instructions here. I'm not going to do it because I already did this part of it, but it is really easy. If you just go over to Linux and follow really just this one command here, that's all you need to do to install Terraform. I did not run into any issues with that. And then the AWS CLI, you will also need to install that. Once again, very easy process. I did not run into any issues, but if you do run into any issues, feel free to message me on there. But if you go to the link reference in the GitHub, go down to Linux, and you can follow the steps right down here. So there's a few different ways that you can do it. All of them work. Well, I guess I didn't test the update one because I didn't have it installed. I'm pretty sure this doesn't come pre-installed on Kali. I do think it comes pre-installed on Parrot OS. So if you're running Parrot OS, you shouldn't have to do this step. But if you are running Kali, you will need to do that step. And then JQ, which is a JSON parser, you can just install this. I mean, you can download it this way, but if you just do sudo apt install JQ, you can actually install it that way. So all the requirements, very easy to install. I had no issues going through the requirements. So if you haven't done that already, or if you need to install those, go ahead and get that started as I read through the rest of this. Or if you're watching me on YouTube, go ahead and pause the video. And once you have those installed, come back and let's continue digging in. So we have quick start. So this is to actually install CloudGoat. So make sure your system meets the requirements above. Once again, get those dependencies installed and then run the following commands. And once again, this is all you need to do. I have already run these commands, but if this is brand new to you, I'm guessing it's not. If you're watching me and you have your own Kali VN, you're used to doing git clone and all that good stuff. So you're just cloning this, cd into CloudGoat, pip3 install the requirements, and then you're making CloudGoat executable. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. We'll pull up my terminal and show you guys what this looks like. So if I go over to my AWS Pentesting and we're going to go over to CloudGoat, I have everything here for myself. So there's cloudgoat.py. So once again, I'll give you a chance to do that. If you're watching this on YouTube, pause the video, make sure you follow these 3 steps. You should not have any issues, at least I didn't. If you do encounter issues, feel free to message me, leave a comment on this video, and I'll do my best to assist you. You may also want to run some quick configuration commands. It'll save you some time later. Okay, so here's the part I want to jump from GitHub because you may be completely new to AWS. So in order to run CloudGoat, you of course need an AWS account. You should be able to do most of the scenarios, if not all of them. I'm not sure if you can do all of them, but most of them in a free tier. And every once in a while, even if it does cost money, it's not going to cost much. It's going to be cheaper than even a monthly sub to Hack the Box or Try Hack Me, but you do need to create an AWS account. So if you do not have an AWS account created yet, you'll need to do that ahead of time. And once you create your AWS account, you are going to have to generate access keys and a secret key. It's kind of like how AWS does authentication, and that is so you can set up a profile from the command line interface to connect to your AWS account. I'm not going to show you guys how to do that because my AWS account is managed by Rhino. So we're not going to pull it open and show you. I'm not going to show you guys my access keys and secret key. I do have a sandbox environment, so I will walk through this. This is kind of a sandbox environment specifically for CloudGoat that I got set up. But I'll show you how to do this. Google is your friend. So literally, if you just Google how to do this, once you create your AWS account and you have a user account, it is super easy to create the access keys. But there's one big thing I want you to know. So when you follow these steps to create your access key, your secret key is only going to be shown once. Now, AWS will make this very clear when you set it up, but your access key is like publicly available. Well, not publicly, but you can access your access key at any time. Your secret key, once again, when you generate your secret key, it's not generated automatically. So you have to go to security credentials and then generate an access key. If you follow these steps, it will guide you through it. It is really easy. But the big thing, once again, your secret key is only shown once. So when you see your secret key, make sure you note it and you grab it down so that we can set up our AWS profile. Okay, so at this point, here's what you need to have in place. You need to have an AWS account, number one. You need to have an access key generated for an account and a secret key generated for the account. And you need to have permissions to set up and tear down resources. So if you're creating this AWS account, you should be the admin. You should have those necessary permissions. All right. Once you do that, we need to configure our AWS profile, which is not included on the GitHub, but if you're a noob like me, it's not as straightforward. Once you have the AWS CLI type stuff installed, I'm going to go off memory. We'll see if I get this right. I believe it's AWS. Oh, there it is. So it's configure, profile, and then whatever you want your profile to be. So we'll just call this one test. I'm not going to actually complete this one. We'll say test for, actually, we'll call this one Hack Smarter because we're on the Hack Smarter Twitch channel. So here is where we're going to plug in our access key ID and our secret key. And what we're doing is we're setting up a profile. This will be on our Kali VM called Hack Smarter. You can name this whatever you want to name it as you're working through these scenarios. But here we would type in our access key. It might error out on me. Oh no, it's not going to. So then we can do our secret access key. And then when it comes to default region name, you can just enter through all of that and you will set up your profile. You'll have this for here is a Hack Smarter profile. We're not actually going to use the Hack Smarter profile. Hope I didn't break anything on my end by making this fake profile. But you will want to set that up with your access key and your secret key in order to get the AWS CLI configured from your Kali VM into the AWS environment. I know that's confusing. If it doesn't make sense, read documentation. You'll be able to figure it out. If I can do it, y'all can do it. I believe in every one of you. All right, let's jump back over to the GitHub. And once again, like I just did this stuff for the first time today. So for those of you who know AWS better than I do, if I'm explaining this wrong, leave a comment in the YouTube channel. Tell me what I'm doing wrong or call me out on Twitch, and I will be happy to learn from you. Once we do that, it says you may also want to run some quick configuration commands. It'll save you some time later. So we have this config profile thing and our whitelist. And I'll show you what each one of these is. So if we run config profile, CloudGoat, config profile like that. Okay, so I already have my profile set up, but if you don't have your profile set up, it's going to ask you to specify a default profile name. And the way this works, or at least it worked for me, whatever you named your AWS profile in the previous step, go ahead and call it this here in this config YAML file. And it seems to me that's where it pulls the permissions from. So if we named it Hack Smarter, I would have hit, well, it wouldn't prompt you for this. I've already set this up, but I would type Hack Smarter as the name. I'm going to hit no on that because I already did that step. The other part that we need to do is set up a whitelist. Now, this is going to determine who can actually connect to your vulnerable instances, and it's going to whitelist it by IP, and it actually does it automatically for you. So I'll show you guys that command. So once again, CloudGoat like that, config, whitelist, and then auto. And I've already done it, but that's why it's saying a whitelist is already discovered for you. If you did not already do it, it'll automatically create a whitelist. It'll take your public IP address and whitelist your public IP address to be the IP that can access the CloudGoat scenarios, just so other people on the internet are not trying to hack it. Or if you're streaming live like me, people watching on Twitch aren't trying to connect to my same vulnerable instance. So we're going to go ahead and hit no on that. For those of you on Twitch, once again, if you guys have any questions or want me to explain something further, or more like want me to Google something, because I don't know what I'm talking about most of the time anyways when it comes to AWS as I'm learning it myself, feel free to holler at me. Just going to check messages on here real quick, and then we will dive right back into it. All right, so far so good. Let's keep moving. Now at our command, CloudGoat can create an instance of a scenario in the cloud. When the environment is ready, a new folder will be created in the project-based directory named after the scenario and with a unique scenario ID appended. This is really cool how this works. Inside this folder will be a file called start.txt, which will contain all of the resources you'll need to begin the scenario, though these are also printed to your console when the create command completes. Sometimes an SSH key pair named CloudGoat and cloudgoat.bub will be created as well. Note, don't delete or modify the scenario instance folder or the files inside, as this could prevent CloudGoat from being able to manage your scenario's resources. In other words, if you do that and you say CloudGoat destroy, it may not destroy the resources, and then you're going to get charged money. All right, so listen to the instructions. As you work through the scenario, feel free to refer to the scenario's README if you need direction, and this is what we're going to do. So there's a few resources I want to recommend to you guys. One is this. I don't know if you guys can see this. Maybe if I make face cam, there we go. So a hands-on AWS penetration testing with Kali Linux. This is actually written by the founder of Rhino Security Labs, and I am going through this, as you can see. And this has been really helpful for me. I was actually following along with the exercises as I was going through here. Really where the really good AWS stuff starts is in chapter 7 if you do purchase this book. The rest of it's good as well, but chapter 7 is where you're really going to get to the specific AWS pen testing concepts and backdoors and things like that. Really neat, really well done. I'm not just saying that because I work at Rhino. I have found this super helpful for my own learning on this. I have no idea what brought that up. Oh, because we're going to follow the scenarios README. So here's how I'm going to treat this, guys, because once again, I'm new to AWS pen testing. We're going to treat this more like Try Hack Me and less like Hack the Box. And here's what I mean by this. Often when you're doing Try Hack Me or Room on Try Hack Me, it's guiding you step by step, like here is how to do these specific commands. But if you do it right, you're slowing down and you're Googling stuff. And anything that you don't understand, you're Googling that you might learn it. But at the end of the day, we don't know what we don't know. And if this is new to you like it is to me, it's going to be very hard to even do the first scenario fresh. So we're going to use these scenarios as a means of learning, whereas Hack the Box is more like, here's a machine, good luck, have fun crying, and figure your way through it. Both are really good. I really enjoy Hack the Box machines, but I also really enjoy Try Hack Me for the purpose of learning. So we're going to treat this more like Try Hack Me and less like Hack the Box. But if you have more experience with AWS pen testing, just dive into it, right? You'll do a good job. If you get stuck, there are cheat sheets linked to the bottom of each route's walkthrough. I'll show those to you guys. When you are finished with the scenario, delete any resources you created yourself. Remember, CloudGoat can only manage resources it creates and then run the destroy command. It's always a good idea to take a quick glance at your AWS web console afterwards, just in case something didn't get deleted. You can read the full documentation for CloudGoat's commands here in the usage guide section. So here is how to use the Docker image. We are not using the Docker image, but if you prefer that, go ahead. Now, we are at scenarios. So that's my introduction, guys, to CloudGoat. Hopefully it makes a little bit of sense to you. And let's just glance through these different scenarios. So we have a vulnerable Lambda function. We'll start as a Bilbo user, assume a role with more privileges, etc. We have some Privesc type stuff, more Privesc. We have Cloud Breach S3. That must be an S3 bucket. That'll be fun. Privesc by attachment, server-side request forgery, takeover, some web app, remote command execution in a web app. As you can see, a lot of really good stuff. And like it said in the beginning, the community can always add to this. So if you want to add your own modules, you can find the information on GitHub on how to do that. Here is our usage guide. Oh, whoops. Thank you. OreoBite, I always have a tendency to do that. Thank you for calling me out where I'm talking and I forget to switch it to the screen. So if I just scroll up here, what I was showing you guys is the different scenarios on here. So this is what I was talking through as we have these different scenarios that are available. Kind of like CTF type stuff. I don't know how long I wasn't showing my screen, probably since I showed the book. But I don't think you guys missed a whole lot. It was just these scenarios and how to set them up. And I will do my best. We will try to cover all these scenarios as we work our way through this. Obviously not just today. I'll probably stream a little bit longer, but we're definitely not going to hit all these scenarios today. And then we have just the basic usage guide right here on how to run a CloudGoat command. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and launch our first scenario and see if we can work our way through it.